All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about Marvel's Wolverine. We're going to go over when the potential release date's going to be. We're going to talk about all of the recent leaks and rumors, as well as just everything you need to know about this upcoming game. This is also one of PlayStation's next big exclusive game that's going to be releasing for PS5. So for that reason, you guys do not want to miss out on all of this information. We're also going to go over when the next big reveal for Marvel's Wolverine is going to be. All signs are currently pointing to a PlayStation showcase that is rumored for the middle of September. We're going to go over that and so much more, so definitely stick around until the end of the video because you guys do not want to miss out. Wolverine is probably one of the most notorious characters from the Marvel universe, with all of his bone structure being replaced with the almost indestructible adamantium. Wolverine is of course known for taking out his opponents with his superhuman strength, and of course his new claws that were a byproduct of his adamantium injections, which is a factor in why Wolverine is ranked amongst the top strongest superheroes in Marvel's universe. But that's also because he is essentially unkillable due to his amazing regeneration powers, with the most recent video game involving Wolverine, or any X-Men for that matter, being in 2014 with the mobile game Uncanny X-Men: The Days of Future Past. The Legends Insomniac Games has taken the position of bringing back some of the most successful Marvel video games, and is doing the same by taking in the Wolverine brand and making a new game. Now, with both games, Spider-Man 2 as well as Wolverine, being announced at the same conference, the PlayStation 5 showcase last year, it's kind of raised some eyebrows on when exactly we're going to be getting Marvel's Wolverine released, especially since the studio is currently working on Spider-Man 2. Now, as far as release date goes, it's full speculation at this point, with the only hint we have towards the current state of the game being a statement from Ryan Schneider, who is the head of franchise strategy and studio relations at Insomniac Games. He stated that the game is currently very early in development, and that was pretty much it. Now, this is to be expected as the game was only announced last year. We got the initial teaser trailer, and as I said, during that time, Insomniac had likely been full focused on making the new Spider-Man 2 sequel, since the first one was such a hit success. Now, with that information in mind, we can expect to see Wolverine sometime between mid to late 2024 or early 2025. Now, in my opinion, this is a good thing because with Insomniac's current track record, this studio has had some banger games, so I say let them take all of the time they need for this game, especially for a game like this one. Such a respected and iconic character that has kind of been blundered in the past. I would much rather let Insomniac just kind of do what Insomniac does. Now, shifting focus to the story as well as some of the potential plot elements that we could see, if we're going to assume anything on the story as of right now based on the trailer and all of the Easter eggs we see in it, we could be going all the way back to Wolverine's first appearance in Incredible Hulk 184. Just from the amount of Easter eggs referring to his first appearance, it would not be out of the question to see this game take us from square one with Wolverine all the way back to current canon. That, or they bring us up on some of the story to leave room for more games afterwards, like what is currently happening with Spider-Man 2. If they do plan on starting things from the beginning with Wolverine, then the upcoming game could be a Wolverine versus Hulk adventure, which I gotta say would be super nostalgic for many people who grew up as fans of Wolverine, and would be an amazing game given the period of the Marvel universe at the time. However, it's completely possible that this could just be a bunch of little references to Wolverine's first appearance. Now, something that I went over in my last Spider-Man 2 PS5 video, I talked about whether or not we're going to see Wolverine featured in the upcoming Spider-Man 2, with Insomniac Games developing not only Wolverine, but they're also working on Spider-Man 2 as well as Miles Morales. They're essentially building a crossover universe with Marvel games, so it would totally make sense if Peter Parker and Miles Morales teamed up with Wolverine to help assist them in their fight against the villains in Spider-Man 2. My current theory is that this game will be around the time when Wolverine is in the X-Men, and we get more of an in-depth view on how life was for the main hero at the time, and how we saw him progress through the years with the rest of the X-Men and the many villains that they took down together. There's already many games as well as movies based on Wolverine's origin story, and it would be kind of repetitive seeing that again. And besides, we didn't get Spider-Man's origin story with the first game, and rather a little down the road of his life as the web-slinging hero. Unless Insomniac has some card up their sleeve on how the game is going to be as an origin story, and more with Wolverine, I'm sure they've already scrapped the idea of just another origin story. Now, personally, I would love to see an arc that would get the players as emotionally attached as the 2017 Logan film. Something like the Brotherhood arc. To sum it up quickly, Wolverine goes on a quest to avenge the murder of a young girl who asked for his help, and I feel like the power that was shown against the Brotherhood in the comics would be pretty awesome for the game. Now, if you're not aware, the main villains of said arc are just regular humans. Now, there's also a reference to an eye patch at the bar, which could also refer to Wolverine's patch alias that comes from when Logan flees to Madripoor after the X-Men are presumed dead. So it might be cool to see a game where Logan lives as an outsider and gets dragged into another adventure after some random crazy event, which could likely be why we see him sitting solemnly at the bar by himself while he tries to deal with his tragic past or just get some peace and quiet. Finally, let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay. Just like the story, we have no official information or anything definitive in terms of how the game is going to play. There isn't much released for the current state of the game. However, if Insomniac does anything similar to Spider-Man in terms of how combat will be, then we can expect to see some amazing combos and different upgrades that will be game-changing for the player and allow for some crazy attacks while beautifully showing Wolverine's sheer raw power. What I hope to see is not just a generic hack and slash game, which would be pretty typical for a Wolverine game. However, I want this game to be a little bit different. I want the combos to be similar to Spider-Man 2, but more like Arkham Knight, where everything is a little bit more up close and personal with the same style of grittiness and hopefully gore that we would expect to see from a game like Wolverine. Like I said, not as much hack and slash, more combos, and just finesse on how the gameplay should feel. I also don't want it to be overly choreographed. Like, obviously I want to see some cool animations, but I want to be able to have a little bit of choice in what I do rather than just spamming a button. Like I said, I don't really want it to be a typical hack and slash game, but at the end of the day, that's kind of how he deals with enemies. His goal is to take down whoever is in the way and ask questions later. And I feel like Insomniac can do something just a little bit more impactful with his combat. If we look at other games that have a more particular hack and slash aspects, but the combat still feels impactful, like the Naughty Dog games, then it would be really cool to see some punches or attacks in the game that the player could actually feel. Taking Wolverine's character, he's not exactly a hand-to-hand combat expert. He's a gritty, knuckle-down fighter who just throws himself at the enemy and uses his regeneration and his abnormal strength to his advantage, not to mention his claws that can cut literally anything. So seeing him pull off some crazy moves that would not fit the character wouldn't feel right and would throw off how to feel about the game. With that, I really want to implore to Insomniac Games to not only make Wolverine strong, but also make his combat impactful. Oh, also, did I mention gore? Because I really want this game to be gory. So if that means the ESRB rating is going to go up, then so be it. Now, with the thought of Wolverine's regenerative powers, Insomniac could do just the generic slow healing over time that we see in pretty much every game out, or keep the fast regeneration but encounter enemies that can do enough damage to actually make you try. I'm interested to see what they decide to do in that regard. I'd also like to see some enemies that take a bit more convincing to put down rather than just being able to walk all over everyone and anyone you come across while playing and experiencing the game. Now, with all of that information being said, when are we going to get the next reveal for Marvel's Wolverine? Well, if you take a look at the current lineup for the PlayStation 5 in 2023 and 2024, there's not really any other game that's been revealed other than Spider-Man 2. So that should mean the next PlayStation showcase that is currently rumored for sometime this next week, or at the very least sometime in September like they usually do. It would make sense that Insomniac Games would show off a little bit more of Marvel's Wolverine, even if it's just another cinematic or even some tidbits of gameplay. Pretty much anything would suffice, but then again, all focus will likely be on Spider-Man 2 for PS5, so maybe a Wolverine trailer at the next PlayStation showcase would be a little bit of a stretch. Either way, I am excited to see how the development progresses and see this game revealed and showcased to the public. Now, with the current state of the game and what we've seen revealed, pretty much just a teaser trailer, that's going to wrap it up with everything that we know so far about Marvel's Wolverine. With the game still about 2 to 3 years out, I'd expect to see more and more leaks and rumors that pop up before we get any official news. However, there is the PlayStation showcase, so we could always get lucky. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up with this video. If you guys want to stay up to date with all things Marvel's Wolverine, be sure to do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on all things new with Marvel's Wolverine, Spider-Man 2 PS5, as well as Hogwarts Legacy and more. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. Until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.